and welcome to another episode of The Gadget Man 369. On today's episode, which is part 11, we are going to make and install the launch lugs of this rocket. Should be an easy day, hopefully. Yeah, on the last episode when I was filming, it's like the microphone was failing and I had all kinds of audio problems. But hopefully I have it cured. Yeah, I'm using this this mic here. It requires power. I gotta remember to turn that off on that thing. Otherwise, if I plug a mic in that requires no power, it'll burn it out. But hopefully today, the audio don't crap out. All right, I'm gonna show you something here. This, okay? This is a launch lug jig I made. If you look close at it, it's wrapped in 2 layers of that construction paper. And also I have a bevel, 45 degrees on it. You'll need that. This thing's about 2 inches long. So you might want to make one of these. Make life a lot easier trying to make the launch lug. Okay, here's a quick look at the drawing I made of that little launch lug jig. Might want to pause the video and kind of study that. It's pretty easy, but you just make one of these things and you'll be ready to go. The reason why that paper is on here is to make this 1/4 of an inch dowel a little bit thicker than the launch lug, or should I say the launch rod, which is going to go through the launch lugs, which holds the rocket on the launch pad. If you made the launch lugs tight against this, then it wouldn't even slide on the launch rod on the launch pad. Boy, that sounds all confusing. Anyway, that was that. Okay, you know what? Without further ado, let's build the launch lug. Okay, here we go. Gonna take a piece of scrap paper, that's all you need, and find the pencil. And you notice again the grain of the paper is going this way. That makes it easy to roll up this way and that way. Okay, so if you look on the drawing, okay, we'll have a look at that drawing real quick. Yeah, you could see the drawing, you could study that. Alright, see these dimensions here? We're going to make those. There's 3 inches, 1.2. What the heck is that? Oh, that's 1.28. That's a pencil line right here. So from one end of this over here, you make a pencil line at that. So when we roll it up on that little jig, and then you have to unroll it carefully up to that where you see this line, then you start applying glue over here on there and then roll it back up on there. If you go beyond that line, then the thing will pop off the jig. Okay, there's the dimension of the dowel thickener. That's this thing right there. Oops, okay. The dowel thickener, that's this right here. Okay, and if you make it this dimension, and then of course the grain of the paper, and then tightly glue this right to that stick, it should come out just right. All right. Okay, put this back away. All right, ready to go. So, got a 3 inches. Okay, that right there. Okay, right here. I don't like how that's there. That's better. Okay, you already know this kind of routine. Pencil lid on there. Okay, now the width of that is 1 inch wide. Make a line here. Make a line there. Just like that. Put the pencil on here. And voila. There's that piece. Alright, take your handy dandy X-Acto blade. or whatever brand they call it now, and cut right down the center of that pencil line. And yeah, it'll take a little practice to do this without using a straight edge. Problem with doing a straight edge, cutting these lines, is it isn't perfect, and then sometimes you cut the ruler and all that. There we go. There we go. There we are. I keep saying there we go, and then there we are, and it comes out there we go. Crazy. Okay, now take this little jig here and roll it up. Okay, and once you get it like that, just keep rolling it like that, and that'll make sure that that's all the way down. And you know what? I forgot to put that mark on there. Okay, where's the pencil? No worries, mate. Okay, it's over 1.25 inches. Make it an 1.5 inches. I'm gonna just eyeball that. I'm trying to again save time. Okay, that's the pencil line. Okay, this is the side here you roll up on that jig like this. Now the idea behind this, you might have to roll and unroll it. See, that's uneven, that's no good. If you kind of eyeball that edge on the paper with that edge of the jig, you can get it to start and roll up on here pretty perfect. Okay, what you want to do is while you're rolling it up is pay attention to this edge right here, so you can keep this paper edge to edge, so it makes a nice perfect roll. Now I'm going for the final okay, is it down all the way? Yeah, it looks like it. Now I'm pinching this really hard. Gonna back this up, back it up. Now be careful, you're gonna stop. There's that line, okay? Stop right there and keep holding on to it. Okay, really tight. Yeah, get some glue on there like that. Alrighty, I'm gonna take that scrap paper and a gluer, and I wanna make that even as I can on there. Okay, now you carefully roll it back up there. And then again, while you're rolling it up, pay attention to one of the sides. Boy, that looks good. And go like this. You could blow on that, help cool it off. Now, this should be tight, but not tight. Okay? I can easily pull that off. And of course, when the glue dries, that's gonna shrink. Right, okay. Now, let's find the middle. Okay. We got 1 inch. Okay, there's a 1/2 inch right there. Okay. I'm gonna just eyeball that, but you can do a much better job because you don't have to worry about batteries going dead. Hey, that was pretty good for freehand. Okay, now here's what you're gonna do. While this is still wet, you're gonna squeeze this, not real tight, but kind of flatten that out. Okay, and now, let's see, I think there should be approximately what do we got there? Okay, there's 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so you could see a mark I made there. 1/8 of an inch, barely right there. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna make it like this. I'm in a hurry, but you could mark that up. Actually, before you even roll that paper up, you could actually just mark those on there, you know, center between there is a 1/2 inch, then go over 1/8 on both sides, okay? Now, here's what we're gonna do. Just like that. Okay, gonna go like that. You take your handy dandy scissors, you could do it with an X-Acto blade. Okay, and I'm gonna cut that. Just like that. Okay, now we're gonna open those up. Like that. Get this stick. The stick. It's a jig. I would start it on this end because it makes it easier to get that back on there. Like that. Like that. It's already shrinking a little bit, I could tell. Okay, come on. You don't want that to get stuck on there. Okay, you just take your burnisher, or you can take the edge of a pencil and just, okay, not be stubborn. Just like that. Now you can keep messing with this until it's nice and down, flat and round. You want to get that roundness back in the launch lugs. It's kind of sticking over there. There we are. Stubborn little booger. Especially where you had where it was folded or creased. Okay. And now what you have is this. Okay. Just like that. Got one of those and one of those. Reason why I'm taking these off is I made some already. And what you want to do, okay, leave these on until those parts are completely dry. Even if you could, like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow or whatever, that's even better. Then you pull them off. Okay, now I made a set of these for the sake of it being dry. These want to just blow away. Okay, now what you want to do is line this up. See how that is? And just have a little bit of that paper like that. You can see showing out, sticking out. Okay, and you can see that ain't too pretty. It's got that sharp point on there, and it's got that sharp point on the bottom. So what we're gonna do, take a sandpaper on a block like that. You want to line that 45 up with the 45 that's on there. Okay, and you just proceed on each piece simply until you get this. It looks all nice and perfect. Then what you want to do when you're done with all the sanding, I've already got glue on the end of that, so I don't really need to do this again, but just to show you guys, I'm going like that. Okay, then I'm going like that to remove the excess glue. And you can see on the inside there's excess glue. So if you just quickly push that through, wipe the end of that off. You don't want to leave any excess glue on there. Rotate that. Okay, then you want to do this side with the glue. I'm not going to do it, but you already saw that. Like that, do exactly the same thing on this side, and then wipe it off, and then rotate on that like that. Carefully take that off, and you should have a part that looks exactly like this. There's a launch lug, and I got 2 of them. Now, next is the installation. Whew. Yeah, the back of my legs are falling asleep. So now, we've got this puppy. Okay. Now, here's a simple trick. All right. If I can get these things out of the way. There we go. There it goes. Okay. Get that back up here. Get everything out of the way. Now, if you put this together like I described, you should have this seam all the way down like that and lined up. Okay, that's pretty good anyway. I'm not going to worry about it. It's close enough. I eyeballed looking on the end of the tube there. Like that. Probably can't see that, but this all the way down and trying to determine where the exact center of that is. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Is that thing still recording? Yep, good. I'm gonna put a whole bunch of glue. Okay, let me show you. Okay, there's a bottom. This side will be the bottom, okay? You want to put that across there like that. Not over here or there, but right in the middle, yeah. Okay. And like the fins, we're going to just put enough glue on there to tack it down because we're going to fill it. Okay. Let's see if I can, how good I am sticking that on there. Okay. Okay, I want to make sure that that is in the correct position. Okay, and then you got to make sure it's square. Okay, now we have time because we got enough glue on there where it's not going to dry. Where do I want the second one on here? You don't want to make it like too close together, then there's too much pressure, leverage against it. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. Let's see. I'm going to measure that. Okay. From the bottom of the fin. Let's see. Yeah, you got about 3 3/8 from the very bottom of the rocket. Okay. From the bottom of the backside of that fin to the next position, I'm going to put that at 10 inches. Okay, let's see, hopefully I'll get that in there. 10 inches. Can eyeball that, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Okay, I just put a mark on there. Put some glue on there like that. Try not to get glue on the inside of that tube. Okay, and now, all right. I'm gonna roll that. Okay, now here's the next step. I can't really show you. Okay, make sure that it's, you know, square this way. Okay. That looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do, which you probably won't be able to see, to make sure that those are in a line, I am going to look down both of those this way. Eyeball it, okay, and make sure they're all in the same position and they're straight. And you'll be able to easily see that. Boy, am I good or am I good? There you are, right on the money. That's the first time that ever happened. Usually, I put them on there and I look and it's like, oh, I gotta twist this one or twist that one or something. Now we gotta let this dry completely, and then you're gonna come back and you're gonna weld on both sides. Put a lot on there. Lots of welding, like you did on the fins. Let's see, how long do I gotta wait so I could just quickly demonstrate that? I don't want those to fall off. Notice how I have the rocket sitting on the table here? You don't want to have it sideways or anything because then those things will just roll off. They're gonna just roll off. And we don't want that. Let's see. This table I have this on is wobbling. There we go. How's that? How's that? Okay. That looks better for the movie. Well, this is about launch lugs. Let's just put those deals back in there. All right. Come on, dry. Let's see what they feel like. Just for this video, I just need to have them. They're a little bit like iffy if I turn this. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna weld those up. Look at that weld. Looks like I welded it with a welder. I like to do that because when it's primered and finished, you could see those welds. That one didn't come out real good, but most of all of that will all dry. Okay, come back over here, do this one. Just like that. That's a good one. See the way those look? They'll dry and they'll still have enough of that pattern to show. Gotta make it look good. There, how's that, huh? Look at that. Okay, that one's welded, that one's welded. Want to make this look like, you know, maybe it's a real aircraft or something when it's finished. Hell, you could paint this thing, primer it, and then put silver on it, and then paint over that somewhat so some of the silver will show. And clean that off. Sometimes it's a handy hint. Squeeze that, have a towel there. Squeeze this until nothing comes out. Clean the end of that, stick that back on. Then you won't have any problem. All right. See, today's video was really easy. Now, when this is put on the launch lug, when this is put on the launch pad, and that rod slides through all those and it holds this thing upright. So I like to have these kind of far apart and up. If you have all this stuff down, there's too much leverage and it might rip these out. So by the time this one comes off the pad when it's launched, it's going fast enough where it won't rip that one off, hopefully. I've never had that happen before. So what I'm doing is correct. Now just one more time, I'm looking down. Okay, they're perfect. All right. So that was pretty easy, wasn't it? All right, there we go. We just completed this rocket. Well, it's almost completed. So you can see now if you look down here, like that, you can see these things are lined up perfectly, and these are between there and there. So the alignment is about as perfect as you could get. Look at that, man. Okay, let's see if we could put this on. I think I got the rocket in the view this time. Here's a trick though. On mine, I kind of goofed up. That sleeve right there, if you look real close, it's not in there straight. So when I put this in here, it's like bent like this. It's like, oh man. But there, if that happens to you, there's a trick you can do. You just simply rotate this thing until it sits in the straight position using that 90-90. So that's a good place right there. That's straight right there. You take a pencil for now and mark it. So when you take it off and put it back on, you simply line those marks up. Wow, look at that. The actual rocket itself is finished. All we got to do now is make those parachutes. Parachutes. I don't know how that comes out. Boy, it's almost too big to get in this video. Yeah, so what we got here, we got that nozzle and everything. It's not a fancy nozzle as far as putting the motor in and out, because we're going to use an old-fashioned way to put that in there. They just wrap tape around the motor and press fit it in there. That little motor, it shouldn't come out of there. And on this rocket, if it does blow out of there, this thing will weigh so little, it'll just float down like a fly and land out there. I mean, having a parachute on this is like almost, you know, you don't even need it. But this needs to come apart. Otherwise, this thing's going to come down like a missile, and it will crush the front end a bit. But if this thing pops out and the parachute gets all tangled up, nothing's going to happen to it. Because this thing, you know, let's see, how much does this weigh so far? Well, a little bit more than a June bug. Yeah, like again, we have that. There you see the plug in there. You got that flame arrestor in there. And this compartment in here, which holds the recovery system, a parachute and shock cords. Now, in my case, I'm going to rotate this. There we are. See, it's nice and straight because I put that back on there with those lines lined up again. Got to keep this in here. I keep moving this down here. Now you can't see. Now you see it. Now you don't. But you just keep the stuff I'm showing you up here. And that came out pretty cool. I like that welding effect on there. And when it's painted up, all that welding will really look nice. I don't know if I said anything about those fins, but that weld across here is done on both sides. There'll be a line there, but there's no joint there. But you can make it appear like there's a weld there when it's finally painted. Ooh, don't touch that with your finger. Double check it so I didn't move it. Okay. Okay, that's good. You have a chance for a little while to roll those. You could roll it this way or that way if it's out of a line with that back one. But that's one advantage of having this out of there again. Having advantage of having the seams lined up. Okay, yeah, there's some imperfections in that, because you could see it, because when we were burnishing it down or whatever, it did put a little twist in there. So we try and build those where there's no twist in anything. Ah, there we go. Yeah. And next week, if all goes well, we will have this 100% complete. And there's that trash truck out there again. Noisy thing. This is not even trash truck day. Oops. Okay. Let him go by. All right. Now, that parachute. That's going to be fun. That might be a longer video because it might take a while to show how to sew it up. I'm going to show you a different way to make the parachute than just a piece of plastic with tape holding the shroud lines in, you know, and I find those are almost useless half the time. It goes up, it blows out, the parachute opens up, and you always lose 1, 2, or 3 shroud lines to get ripped out of there. So I have come up with an idea to avoid all of that. The parachute will be really cool. And because it's so small, it might kind of be a little bit iffy, but it'll work really good. It should work really good. Anyway, you're going to need some string for that. That string you find at the supermarket to sew up turkeys or something like that. Maybe a little bit heavier. A heavier string is kind of nice. The thinner the string you have, the more chance of it zippering when that parachute opens up, okay? So a thicker, lightweight string would be ideal. Yeah. I don't have an example of that right here, but the string is kind of, if you measured it, it'd be at least a 1/16 of an inch thick. But it's like cotton or something, and it's real lightweight for its thickness. Yeah, I'm for this size of rocket right here, I'm going to go with that that turkey basting stuff. You can get that really cheap, a roll of that at a supermarket, or something similar to that, you know. Yeah. So get that ready. A picnic tablecloth, what I mean, is, you know, it's plastic, but it's got to be thick enough so when you crunch it all up and you just let go of it, it don't stay all wadded up like a trash bag. You can't use a trash bag. The parachute will never open. But this tablecloth, like a picnic tablecloth, you can get it at the 99-cent store. No, Dollar Tree now. But you can still get those in the party section. Look for the picnic table thing. They're only $1.25 for a whole pack. Make you a lifetime supply of parachutes. You could pick any kind of color or pattern you want. I like red and yellows. But you could pick one that suits you. But make sure it's made out of a material that when you crunch it up like this and let go, it just opens right back up, you know. You don't want to get the real thick stuff, though. And then there's the real thin stuff, and that's not really that good either, but there's something that's kind of a medium thickness. Well, if you get the one at the Dollar Tree for $1.29 or $2 or something for a pack, it should be just right. Boy, we've came a long way. If I could finish that next time, then it'll only be 12 episodes to completely build this rocket from scratch. So hopefully you have your rocket all finished and ready to go for that parachute build next week. Or as we would properly call it, the recovery system. I think I'll have one more video after that, which will cover how high it'll go, and the weight. We'll weigh it and then put it in the computer and see how high it goes. Can calculate out. This is not going to be no altitude record breaking rocket, but the idea is to make the rocket super lightweight, cheap, and fly on tiny engines. And you can build this rocket. Boy, if you made this rocket with that weight, with a C engine in it, you could do that by modifying that engine tube assembly all the way up in there and make it bigger. Put that in there. A C engine, this rocket, it would blow it out of the sky. Probably would go over 1,000 feet easily, I think. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and hit that subscribe button so you will not miss another episode. Until next time, this is The Gadget Man 369. Over and out.